Hey guys, I'm now joined by Ricardo Bear, one of the lead designers on Dishonored, and as I just learned now, you also worked on Deus Ex.
Yeah, I was one of the level designers on the original Deus Ex.
So it seems kind of like, Harvey Smith, you have a specific interest in games with systems that have sort of like all these interlocking gameplay mechanics with also AI systems, and Dishonored is definitely an evolution of that idea that's been kind of developing since Deus Ex.
Yeah, totally. It's kind of in our DNA. Like you said, a lot of us worked on Deus Ex. We have some of the original designers from Deus Ex. Also, the Arcane guys are super big fans of this kind of game too, and they made Dark Messiah and Arx Fatalis, which is a similar kind of game. And we're just that's the kind of game we love, and so it's the kind of game we want to make. And it's really important to us that Dishonored is putting like really cool powers and abilities and tools in the player's hands, so that when they come into a level, when they come into an encounter, it's kind of up to them how they want to solve it.
So what is it about interlocking systems and the agency players get from that you find so fascinating? Because you keep returning to it and you keep trying to like kind of iterating on that. So what is it about those types of mechanics that you find so interesting?
It can lead to some like really sublime, unforgettable moments in games because it's largely player driven. It means it's I think Todd Howard said once that pride is the only emotion that you can get out of games that you can't get out of something like in other media, very easily. And so, especially with this kind of a game, it's like you can be proud of what you did in a game because you thought of it, you took the tools, the designers didn't tell you this is how you had to do it, and the result was of your own creation. So.
I think games like this are really interesting because they sort of encourage exploitation. Several times I've seen Harvey talk about the game, it's talking about how the playtesters exploit the game, and somehow that turns into a game mechanic or a feature. I mean, at some point you guys got to draw the line, like that's not something we can officially support, but it sounds like that's been a pretty organic part of the process.
Totally. It's always a giant discussion, a very fun and lively discussion of where to draw that line. But whenever you have one mechanic over here that's pretty systemic and open-ended, and you combine it with this other thing over here, some unpredictable things can happen. And a lot of the times, it's a big debate, like, should we allow that or not? And most of the times we side on yes, we totally need to allow that. Like the first time somebody combined the double jump power with the maxed out blink power to completely bypass like a bunch of security systems by running across a rooftop, double jumping, and then blinking like 20 yards. It's like, wow. There went 30 minutes of gameplay in just like 5 seconds,
Something we had budgeted out. That was going to take half an hour. Wait, now someone just did that in 3 minutes. I mean, imagine that must pretty profoundly influence the level design to try and... Because you want to funnel people in a direction, but you also don't want to limit. So I imagine that must be really difficult to design around.
When we saw that, you could feel the level designers in the room clench up. They go, oh God, what just happened? But, we didn't shut it down though. We didn't cut that off because like if you're the player who figured that out, like the emotion that you feel, the like pride that you feel when you accomplish that is like that's totally like worth every penny. It's like amazing. So
yeah, it's one of those things that as soon as you see the game, you're like, man, the YouTube videos for this game are going to be pretty interesting because with playtesters you only have X amount of people that can try and mess with the systems, and the moment this goes wide in the player's hands, like just the amount of things that they're probably going to do with it, I imagine will be super entertaining and satisfying for the team to watch, because that's the whole reason you build these systems, is to allow people to kind of bang up the game and poke at the holes and see what they can do that the designers totally didn't intend.
Yeah, exactly. It can be painful sometimes to see that, but it's super rewarding to see that sense of discovery. And it's also like a lot of the things that we talk about, they're not easy to pull off. If they were trivial to pull off, then it would definitely be more in the arena of an exploit. But it's something that takes a lot of finesse and a lot of skill often to pull those kind of things off. So hey, more power to you if you figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, there was one, I think I was listening to the Bethesda podcast, and there was an example given of when you slow down, like tipping over an object, slowing down time, and then that turns it into a climbable object.
Oh, yeah.
So you could kind of use that to create a platform out of like a potted plant that at no point were you supposed to be using that to jump to another spot.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy one. You probably saw the one in the demo too, where like Seth jumps off of a building, and then right before hitting the ground, he possesses someone, and he jumps inside that person's skin, and then all the momentum's killed, and they just kind of waltz out of the scenario. So.
All right, well, Ricardo, Dishonored looks really cool. Tell us when we're finally going to be able to get our hands on it and exploit it and make your level designers really stressed out.
Thanks, man. Look for Dishonored on October 9th, and it's going to be on PC, Xbox 360, and PS3.
All right, Ricardo, thanks.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your E3.
Take care.